prescriptive activity, karma kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name, and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success of Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Let us move on to our next part of the session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all joined this morning?
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandrat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Preeti Dasi from Shal. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association and announcing your name first. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvind Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvind Daksha Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining every day. And as usual, every day you get to announce second. Thank you, Prabhuji, for joining every day. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Tiffany Mataji, for joining and giving your sweet association and wonderful services, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika.
Go ahead, Mataji.
Oh, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Padmasaki Devidasi from Florida. Hare Krishna, Balavrinda.
Hare Krishna, Padmasaki Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to hear your voice, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to the call. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees, and Hare Krishna, Balavrinda. Nice to see you on the call also. This is Anita from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association and all glories to your services. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita. Please carry on, Mataji.
Go ahead, Prabhuji.
Please, Mataji. First, ladies first. Always. Mataji first.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shyamagori Devidasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shyamagori Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. We all pray that you all feel well, Mataji. Hare Krishna, our prayers for you, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All goes to Prabhupada, all goes to all Guru Maharajas, all goes to all the devotees. Especially Japa Sangha is the best. Thank you very much for allowing me to come every day. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Sukakar Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your association every day. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining early morning, mid-morning and giving us association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat. Go ahead, Mataji.
Go ahead, Mataji.
No, go ahead, Mataji. Go.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj and all the devotees. Well, Hare Krishna, Vrinda, Balavrinda. Very nice to see you. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. My name is Lakshmi. I'm from joining from India. This is my second day of Zoom call. I'm very happy to be part of this Japa group, and I expect more association from this group, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Krishna Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining all the way from India. Thank you, Mataji. Please join us every day. Give your association. We have multiple sessions, not one. We have even mid-morning, that is your night time, 8:30, I guess. Please do join for that also. We have today Leelamrita session is there. Please, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Sri Guru and Gauranga and all assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashmati Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to hear your voice in early morning, mid-morning, and beautiful chanting, Mataji. We are all waiting for your class in the mid-morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru and Gauranga ki jai. This is Shivani from Ashram, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Nala.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association. Hare Krishna. We will start the recording here.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. This is Pooja Roda from Haridwar. Hare Krishna
Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your association. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam 6th Canto, Chapter 1, verse 24. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning. Before I hand over the call to you, I request Raj Prabhu to give a brief introduction. Raj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam to you too. There is a brief introduction for Prabhuji. His Grace Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. Prabhuji took to Krishna consciousness while at college. Prabhuji is very well versed in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and has read Chaitanya Charitamrita over 50 times. Prabhu has been doing edifications of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam for the Bhakti Vrikshas. That's a very brief introduction for Prabhuji. Over to you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Dhanavad Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that brief introduction. Once again, thank you so much, Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu, for your valuable time and association this morning. Please take over, Prabhu. We are eagerly waiting to hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Dhanavad Pranam, Mataji. Thank you, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, for inviting me again. You've been very kind to me. Thank you, Raj Prabhu, for the brief introduction. I hope you're able to see the screen and you're able to hear me as well. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet nashtapraye shvabadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki Om Adhyanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmulatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Manchakalpatrubhyascha Kripasantubhyev Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namah. Saju, once again, I'm just going to get water. Just give me a second. Very sorry about that. This throat just suddenly. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas assembled here. And please forgive me if I say anything which is not correct during the whole lecture, during this talk. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, chapter, it's chapter 1, verse 24, 6.1.24. Tasya Pravayasaha Putra Dashatesham tu Yobbamaha Balo Narayano Namna Pitroscha Dayito Bhashan. So this is the verse 6.1.24. Tasya Pravayasaha Putra Dashatesham tu Yobbamaha Balo Narayano Namna Pitroscha Dayito Bhashan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The old man, Ajamila, had 10 sons, of whom the youngest was a baby named Narayana. Since Narayana was the youngest of all sons, he was naturally very dear to both his father and his mother. Purport. The word Pravayasaha indicates Ajamila's sinfulness because although he was 88 years old, he had a very young child. According to Vedic culture, one should leave home as soon as he has reached 50 years of age. One should not live at home and go on producing children. Sex life is allowed for 25 years between the ages of 25 and 45, or at the most 50. After that, one should give up the habit of sex life and leave home as Vanaprastha, and then properly take sannyasa. Ajamila, however, because of his association with the prostitute, lost all Brahminical culture and became most sinful even in his so-called household life. So I have the first part of this talk. We are just going to discuss this name, Narayana, and its origin, its etymology, how it has been used, the meaning from different perspectives, and what Prabhupada has said about this word in different parts of the scriptures. So this is the same name is also the 10th child's name of Ajamila, which is Narayana. This is the first verse which came to my mind is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, chapter 13, verse 22. Yasya Narayano Devo Bhagavan Hridgata Sada. This is the verse. Here, the reference to Lord Narayana is that Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And what is the definition of Narayana as the Supreme Personality of Godhead? That he is full of all opulences. Number 2, that Narayana is predominant within the core of your heart because of your being a pure devotee. And number 3, Narayana drives away all the darkness of ignorance, just as the sun drives away the darkness of the universe. So this is the analogy given here, that what is, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that he is full of opulences. But he is also present as in the Paramatma feature within the heart of the living entities. And here it's specifically refers to Prahlad Maharaj as a pure devotee. He always drives away all the darkness of ignorance. This is a reference to Lord Narayana as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The second reference is where Lord Narayana, Krishna is referred to as Narayana. And this is actually done, I think, by Brahma. That's the verse 10.63.23. Srimad Bhagavatam, Ata Narayana Devaha. So this is how Lord Brahma addresses Krishna. Instead of addressing Krishna as Krishna, he addresses him as Narayana. That Ata Narayana Devaha. This is how Brahma addresses. And here, seeing this personified weapon approach, Lord Narayana as Krishna. So here, Ata Even though it says Narayana, the address here it is being addressed Krishna. Brahma is addressing Krishna in the 10th canto. And then again, this is another verse in the first canto itself, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.18. So here again, Krishna is being addressed as Narayana. Yeshavai Bhagavan Sakshad Adhyo Narayana Puman. So this Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He's the first Narayana. Adhyo Narayana. Adhyo is the first Narayana. Eshavai Bhagavan Sakshad. So this is none other than Eshavai. This is none other than Bhagavan, the original personality of Godhead. Adhyo is what is he's the first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer. And this is again referred, directly addressed to Krishna in this particular verse. He's been addressed as this Krishna is none other than the original primordial personality of Godhead. Okay, so these are, so the first, so what we see here is that the Narayana is being addressed as a supreme personality of Godhead. And then I've shared two verses here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, one directly in the 10th canto and one right in the beginning in the first canto, where Krishna is being addressed as Narayana. So this is another verse is where is Lord Narayana? Okay, so Lord Narayana, his realm being confirmed as the Vaikuntha planet, is this one, this verse 10.88.25 is where Lord Shiva is actually moving towards reaching Vaikuntha. There, this verse talks about the realm of Lord Narayana. Yatra Narayana Saksham Myasinam Paramogati. Then Lord Shiva reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha. It's luminous because it's because Krishna is self-luminous, and that's how Vaikuntha is, beyond all darkness, and as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita as well, where the Supreme Lord Narayana is manifest. So here, this verse gives the proof of what is the realm where Lord Narayana resides. It clearly says that he is in the realm of Vaikuntha, and it is beyond all darkness because it is self-luminous planetary system, and that's where Lord Narayana is manifest. And that realm is the destination of renunciants who have attained peace. So who is able to go to Vaikuntha is those who have given up all violence against all creatures, whether it is in the animal kingdom, plants, humans, any living entity, those who have given up violence to all creatures, they are eligible. Even Krishna Bhakti arises only at that time. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. So someone who is able to reach, given up, has attained that kind of a peace. So that kind of who has attained peace, so we can test for ourselves the level of progress that we have made in our Vaishnava behavior. So the Vaishnava behavior, there are so many symptoms which we can test every day, every action of ours. We can test whether we are exhibiting Vaishnava behavior. And Krishna, being very merciful, has always given us never-ending chances. That is why we are being born again and again, and we have now got a human life as well. Therefore, instead of misusing this advantage that Krishna has given us, if we watch carefully our Vaishnava behavior, we will make great progress in Krishna consciousness. And going there, one never returns. So this is again a confirmation of the Bhagavad Gita verse. whoever comes to my planet does not return again. So that is this word, Yatra Narayana Sakshan Nyasinam Paramogati. So where Lord Shiva, when he reached the luminous realm of Vaikuntha, beyond all darkness, where the Supreme Lord Narayana is manifest. That realm is the destination of renunciants. Okay, so number one, it says that this is the destination of the renunciants. That those who are, one needs to, and who is a renunciant? Someone who has attained peace. Who has attained peace. They're not bothered by mundane disturbances, and those people are those who have attained peace, and they've given up all violence against all creatures. So many disturbances are possible in this material world. People will be, it's going to happen whether we want it or not, it's going to happen. But if we remain undisturbed in all those circumstances, then these are all marks of advancement in Vaishnavism. Going there, one never returns. The next verse, also here, it talks distinctly that Lord Narayana is the Lord of the saintly. This is important. Narayano Rishikesho Bhagavan Sattvatham Pati. Even though the word Sattvatah here is actually referring to the Yadus. Okay, this particular verse refers to the Yadus. Okay, but they are considered the saintly people. Okay, but in general, you can also refer to as the saintly. Okay, Sattvatah, even though the direct address in this particular verse is that of the Yadus. So the Lord Narayana Rishikesha. So the Lord is glorified as Narayana Rishikesha and the Lord of the saintly people. Why is he glorified as the Lord of the saintly people? Is because there is not much of a rapport when someone is not saintly with Lord Narayana directly. So the reason for that is when someone with constant demoniac tendencies, even though it is recommended that they take to Lord Narayana so that they can make progress toward in Krishna consciousness, but many times those with rajas, those in the mode of passion, those in the mode of ignorance, it is there are specific, like Lord Shiva is the Lord for the mode of darkness, Brahma in the mode of passion, and Vishnu in the mode of goodness. So even the Puranas are also divided that way, where you have tamasic Puranas. Out of the 18 Mahapuranas, 6 are tamasic in the mode of ignorance. For those who are meant, so that even they can make progress, and they are mainly associated with Lord Shiva. And then you have those rajas, the mode of passion. There are 6 of them, and a lot of them are associated with Lord Brahma. And then you have 6 in the mode of goodness, like the Bhagavatam, Padma Purana, Garuda Purana, Vishnu Purana. These are all in the mode of goodness, and they are predominantly associated in the mode of goodness, because these are people who have given up material attachments, and these are stories of devotees, how to progress. For example, Garuda Purana also talks about so many ways by which one can move from mode of goodness into mode of pure goodness. So in this way, the Lord Narayana has always been approached by the saintly. So the Lord is glorified as Narayana, and the demoniac personalities, even though they have worshipped so many deities like Lord Shiva, like Ravana was the devotee of Lord Shiva, it is not easy for them to worship Narayana in that sense because of the enmity that they have developed. And so here the Lord is referred to as the Lord of the saintly. And then there is also a definition. There are a few verses where there is a definition of Narayana. This is in the 2nd canto in the universal creation and so on. So, Tena Narayano Nama Yadapaha Purusho Bhava. So this is the definition, Apaha. So here, Narayana Nama Okay, so it's saying the name Narayana. Prabhupada is actually giving the definition of Narayana here. This is the word, if you split the word Nara plus Ayana. Okay, so, and if you bring that, if you conjugate those two words, then in the Sanskrit it becomes Narayana. Narayana. The Supreme Person is not impersonal. Okay, Tena Narayano Nama. So the Supreme Person is not impersonal and therefore is distinctly Nara. Okay, a person. Okay, so this is Prabhupada. This is how he's splitting the word Nara as a person. Therefore, the transcendental water. Okay, so that is Ayana. So he goes and reclines on that. Okay, this Supreme Person, he reclines on the transcendental water. And because he lies down on that water, he is known as Narayana. So here, this is the Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, whose navel pit Lord Brahma is rising, and that's the Garbhodaka ocean in the bottom of this universe. And so since he's lying on the ocean, he is being referred to as Narayana. Okay, and there are other definitions as well. The Sri Vaishnavas have also provided references from the Vishnu Purana and other places where they've given definition for the word Narayana, where again the word Nara plus Ayana is referred to as, Ayana is referred to as the base, the basis. And so he's the basis of existence of all the living entities. There, the word Nara refers to all the living entities. And he forms the basis for the sustenance of all living entities. So that is like a second definition of the word. I didn't put that here. I just cited only Prabhupada's definition. And so that is a second definition. And the third is that he, as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he forming the, so these are multiple definitions of Narayana. And here the split is given, and Prabhupada specifically refers to Narayana in these verses as the Vishnu who lies on the Garbhodaka ocean. In many verses, you can see that. But if you see in the previous slide here, he's also referred to where is the Lord Shiva. So that Lord Shiva, when he's going to the Vaikuntha planetary system, so there also Lord Narayana is there in the standing posture with in multiple planetary systems. So there Lord Narayana is present in the Vaikuntha planetary system. He's also present in the Garbhodaka ocean. So he himself is manifest. I will show you a verse after this. So he himself is manifest in this form where he's lying down on the waters for creation. Okay, he's first lying down in the Karana ocean, the causal ocean, which is the Viraja Nadi. And then in each of the universe, he's also lying down as a vessel. So the same Narayana is expanding in all these forms. So in this, so the verse 10.88.25 in the top refers to the Narayana in the standing posture. So Lord Narayana is there in multiple postures. He's there in the standing posture. He's there in the sitting posture in the Vaikuntha planetary system. And he is also there in the sleeping posture in the material cosmos, even though wherever he is, that is also expanded Vaikuntha as well. Okay, so he is also there in the Karana ocean, the Garbhodaka ocean, and the Milk ocean. Okay, that is the Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu. Shai means lying down. Kshira is milk. Kshirodaka Shai, lying down, Vishnu. So this is Garbhodaka Shai. Shai means somebody who's lying down. It's coming from the word Shayana. Shayana, we do in the evening Shayana Arti, Shai, lying down. Got it? So next. So the next reference here of Lord Narayana is as Nara Narayana Rishi. Okay, so this is Srimad Bhagavatam 3.4.22. These are the verses that, in the conversation, where we have Vidura, Maitreya Muni, and then he goes to see Lord Narayana Rishi, and then you can again see that in the 12th canto, in the last canto, where with the towards the last 2-3 chapters, again you can see with the Markandeya Muni, where they go to see Lord Narayana. So these are with reference in that context. So there in Badrikashrama, so what is the verse? Yatra Narayano Deva Narascha Bhagavan Rishihi. So Narascha and Narascha Bhagavan Rishihi. Nara is Lord Nara, and Bhagavan is Narayana. Narascha Bhagavan. So there in Badrikashrama, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is that? Narayana Deva Narascha Bhagavan Rishi. So, and in his incarnation as a sage of Narayana Rishi. So here the word Narayana is used as in the combination of the sages, Nara and Narayana. And even Krishna is being addressed as the original person, Narayana, in the first canto, chapter 9. I showed the verse to you in my first of these slides on the analysis of the word Narayana. But you can also see that different expansions of of Krishna are also referred to as Narayana. I've just given one example here, which is Lord Matsya. Is that this verse? Yes. I have a mistake in this verse number. I apologize. I just see that it's written as 12.12.3. It's a mistake. It's in the 8th canto. Okay, I will provide Vinita Gandharika Mataji the correction. This is not 12th canto. This verse clearly is in the 8th canto. So, Nunam Tvam Bhagavan Sakshat, oh, that's a Rupam Jalau Kasham. Jalau Kasham, Jala means water, Jalau Kasham. So, he's appearing as an aquatic. My Lord, you're certainly the exhaustible Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana Hari. So, here, again, I missed the word Narayana in this, but it's there in this verse. So, it is to show your mercy as the living entities that you have assumed the form of an aquatic. So, here, Narayana has been referred to as Lord Matsya. Apologize for the mistake. This verse is in 8th canto. I'll send the verse to Mataji. So, okay. So in the 11th canto, Narayana is also referred to as a single creator. He alone is responsible. He's the ultimate creator. Eko Narayana Deva. So in this verse, actually, if you see the word Narayana, because of space constraint, I didn't type the entire verses. Just the point that I wanted to make, Eko Narayana Deva. So the word Eka is actually used twice in this verse, if you see that. The word Eka, or one alone, is mentioned twice in this verse. Okay, and the emphasis is that he's the only one Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is not like a class. Okay, it is not like a class. Like, for example, Rudra, is a class of beings. Okay, there are like 12 of them. Lord Shiva is there, so it's like a class. So in that way, you have, it is not they are not like a class of beings that anybody can be called Narayana. It refers to a specific person. And the Sri Vaishnavas also have extensively covered this in their dispositions, that Narayana refers to a specific person, and that it's just not a class of spiritual entities. So like the Rudras, okay, or so the word Eka, that he alone is the creator, and that all universal affairs as well as spiritual pastimes are conducted by his potency alone. Okay, so both the material affairs, the universal affairs, as well as the spiritual pastimes, they're all conducted by his own potency. Okay, in the spiritual world, it's being conducted by his Yogamaya, and in the material world, it's being conducted by Mahamaya. So in this way, he alone is the conductor of all activities, whether it's in the material realm or in the spiritual realm, and he is the single creator. That is the reference to the word Narayana in this particular verse. This is my last slide, I think, of the analysis of the word Narayana. Yatra Narayana Sakshat Bhagavan Nyasinam Gati. This is again refers to the realm, just like how we had about the Vaikuntha, where Lord Shiva was approaching in the 10th canto. This is in the 4th canto. The Supreme Lord Narayana is present among the devotees who are engaged in hearing and chanting the holy name. So here, the realm of Lord Narayana is not just talking about the word Vaikuntha, but it is talking about wherever there is devotees, there Lord Narayana is present. So that place is Vaikuntha. So that means, like, if one is transcended the material realm and is completely residing in the spiritual platform in Krishna consciousness, then that place is Vaikuntha. So that means that even within our home, within this material world, if we are able to not see this material world anymore, we are not able to perceive this material world anymore, and we have actually got liberated Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasochati Nakanchati Samasarveshu Bhuteshu Madhubhaktim Labate Param. We have already started not just in the Brahman platform, but progressed in Krishna consciousness. And then we are able to see Lord Narayana in that realm. Then that place, wherever there is devotee, wherever there is hearing and chanting, there is the locus for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that place is, you will be able to see Vaikuntha, because in the end, Vaikuntha is there everywhere. We are not able to see it because of our faulty vision and being entangled in this material planet. So Lord Narayana is the ultimate goal of the sannyasis, those in the renounced order of life. Okay, so this one was actually covered in a previous definition of Narayana as well. And Narayana is worship through the Sankirtana movement. Okay, so it is said here, it is worship of the Sankirtana, Krishna Sankirtan, by those who are liberated from material contamination. Okay, through devotional service. The word bhakti ideally refers only to Krishna bhakti. Indeed, they recite the holy name again and again. Very nice verse. Srimad Bhagavatam 4.30.36. That Krishna is present wherever the devotees are present. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, like in a way, Advaitacharya also said that to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where when even though the Lord was there by river Ganga, he said that wherever there is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is there that is river Yamuna, and that is Vrindavan. So in the same way, wherever, but there it refers to the Lord, but here even the devotees. So wherever the devotees are chanting and hearing, there that locus is Vaikuntha. This is a corollary to that verse where Lord Shiva was going to the Vaikuntha, where everybody is reciting that kind of consciousness. Next one is also talks about how the deterioration of the age, like in Satya Yuga, the only worshipable Lord was Lord Narayana, because everybody was in the mode of goodness. Everybody was in, so they were all worshipping Lord Narayana, Devo, Narayana, Nanya. This verse 12.12.3, it's talking about the different yugas. If you refer to that verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayana was the only worshipable deity, and there was no recommendation for the worship of the demigods. So, but as the ages started progressing, when people have acquired mixed modes and passion, ignorance, and so on, then the worship of the different devas also commenced. So this verse states how it was when people were predominantly in the mode of goodness / pure goodness. This is another definition of Lord Narayana. That is why I have another picture here of the Karanodakashaya with the Vishnu, the causal ocean, and the Garbhodakashaya Vishnu. So this is in 10.14.14. Here it says Narayano Angam. Angam is body. Okay, why it says Anga means an expansion. You can say it's like a plenary expansion. Narabhu Jalayanat. Jalayanat. Jala is water. Jalayanat. So Narayana as an Angam, as an expansion of Krishna. Here Krishna is being addressed as an Angam, as Narayana as an expansion of Krishna. Okay, so the word Narayana plus Angam becomes Narayano Angam. Okay, in Sanskrit, when we conjugate the two words, Nara Bhu Jalayanat. So this statement, which is from, okay, this was spoken by Lord Brahma in his prayers to Lord Krishna. Narayana refers to one whose abode is the water from Nara. Okay, Garbhodakasai Vishnu, the Narayana is your plenary portion. That is the word Angam here. Okay, Narayana plus Angam. Okay, plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. Okay, so and they are absolute and not creations of Maya. So this says, so this refutes any claim that Narayana is part of that. When there is any claim that these are fictitious imaginations, this verse refutes that and say that they are not creations of some Maya. Okay, they are real, eternal, and absolute. They are not some relative truth, but it is that he is the absolute truth. So the existence of the Garbhodakasaya Vishnu at the bottom of this universe is not some fanciful creation, but is absolute reality, and they are not creations of Maya. He does not, even though he's existing in universe, still not part of it. He's still not part of it because they are not creations of, they are not some illusory creations. They are verily the personality of Godhead, entirely spiritual and absolute truth. So there are devotees who have entirely meditated on this form of Garbhoda Kasai Vishnu, even meditated even the Virat Rupa. What to say of Garbhoda Kasai Vishnu, but even have meditated on the Virat Rupa. So Vaishnavism as such is a very exalted path, providing so much joy to the devotees, because Krishna in various forms, even though it is our goal to please the Lord, but Krishna by his various forms and so many varieties has given so much happiness and pleasure to his devotees that he comes in all these different forms. And let's move forward. I think I've gone a little slow today. I still have 3 more slides. So this verse, these are little extensive slides actually. I have 3 more slides, 3 or 4 more. This is about the holy name, because Ajamila here is naming his 10th son as Narayana. Just a few, I'll go a little fast here in the interest of time. The holy name Krishna is transcendental and should never be considered a material sound vibration. Okay. And this holy name has nothing to do with the mundane matter. It does not belong to this world. Okay, so one should not think, even though this is written in the script here, Hare Krishna, and this Devanagari script here, but one should never think that it is some material letters. It does not belong to any language. It does not belong to any particular language or script or anything. This holy name is not a combination of any material letters or syllables. Okay, the form of this holy name is such that it is not from this world. It is entirely coming from Vaikuntha. And for someone very advanced in our pathway in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, it is coming directly from Vraja Gokul. And only a liberated soul can purely pronounce this transcendental name. This is a very famous verse, of course, everybody would know this. Nama Chintamani Krishna, Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Bhinnatvam Nama Naminaha. The holy name of Krishna is a transcendental, wish-fulfilling gem, and it's the embodiment of all consciousness and sentiments. Okay, it's the embodiment of all consciousness and sentiments. Okay, it is complete, Purnaha. Okay, it is pure. Okay, Shuddho. Okay, it is ever free, Mukto. Okay, because the name Krishna and Krishna himself are the same. Bhinnatvam Nama Naminaha. The name and the personality are the same. So that is why him, the Krishna name itself, we worship the name of Krishna as well. Okay, because it's not different from Krishna. And there is, and it is always, Krishna's name is always liberated and always spiritual. So because of the context of Ajamila, I'm just presenting 3 slides here about the names. The first one, because initially Vinita Gandharvika Mataji also mentioned about the 10 offenses. The holy name, this is the first stage of chanting, is the utterance of the holy name that is made with enmity in the heart. That is actually what the Nama brother, the sum and substance of those 10 offenses is that there is enmity in the heart. And with that enmity, if one chants, so one can always wonder, okay, so this is where one commits the 10 offenses, and the 11th one is inattentive chanting. So it is all that is also mentioned here in this Jaiva Dharma of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. If one reads it, we'll understand that if one is an offender in the chanting, so he gives, Bhakti Vinod Thakur gives like remedies for all the different offenses. For each one of the 10 offenses, there are remedies for it. And what one should do, but overall, what one should do if one is offending the holy name, then one should submit to the holy name, to Nama Prabhu, the personality of Lord of the holy name, Nama Prabhu, and thus be freed from all his offenses. So one should fall at the holy name, at the feet, at the feet of the holy name, and pray, worship the holy name, and ask for forgiveness from the holy name and the holy name. in order for any offense of the holy name. So this is also detailed in the Jaiva Dharma itself, is based on from Bhagavatam 7.5.23-24. If you see those verses, that's where it's taken from Jaiva Dharma. So what is enough? So the word, if you see the word nam aparad, so the word apa, which is going against, and radha, which means success, okay, or prosperity or flow of affection. So aparada, so it is actually going against that flow of affection. So that is where the love of Godhead does not spring, because radha is the flow of affection, and it is putting a block to that flow of affection, literally. So that means it is misplaced. Okay, so this to displace the holy name. Okay, that's basically the holy name is being displaced. So, but there are also some. So even so, one should not be. Even though this is there, one should think. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says that one should not be too much worried. Okay, and then stop chanting because of all these offenses, because even in this kind of offense, Krishna is so merciful that there is some good result even from this offensive chanting. Even though I'm saying this, that one should understand that the repercussions of this holy chanting are extensive. But even in this, and what is that one glimpse of hope, glimpse of thing that, I shouldn't say hope, but glimpse of benefit also in this offensive chanting, is that the holy name will still give whatever result the offender desires while chanting the names of Krishna, but it will not award the love of Krishna. For example, if one is constantly chanting about procuring some material benefit, Krishna, as the owner of all the universes, has no problem offering those benefits. At the same time, the offender has to suffer the result of his offenses against the holy name, but it still has benefit. It still has some kind of, it will offer whatever impure, whatever consciousness one is chanting in that, it will give that offender, those material desires will still get fulfilled. So the offender chants the name with a wicked mentality, but after some time that he or she can chant the name free from wickedness. Okay, so one has to progress. So that means, and when that wickedness is slowly disappearing, then they will also start accumulating sukriti. Sukriti is pious credits. Slowly, its influence, okay, and then because of sukriti, some pious, they will start to get association of saintly people who are chanting the pure name. The influence, so that means that those who are not getting association of devotees, it is very simple that they are unfortunate. And why they are unfortunate? Because of the lack of sukriti. The influence of the saints induces even the offender to chant the holy name, which eventually frees. So finally, you need the association of those devotees, pure devotees, who will free them from this nama prat. So in the context of Ajamila, I'm just going to, this is the picture which will come in the next few verses about, this is the clearing stage. Okay, so this is the second stage of the clearing stage, okay, which is called Nama. So this is the intermediate stage of the holy name where one carefully avoids offenses and the chants. So in this stage, it is still not the perfect stage, okay, of Shuddha Nama. But what does this word even mean, Nama Bhash? So it means that it appears like they're chanting the holy name, but it is not actually the holy name. But what is different? They are not doing the 10 offenses here. There is no offense, but it looks, there is a semblance of the holy name, but they're not actually, it is semblance of the holy name, but they're not actually chanting the pure name. This semblance is a result of ignorance. They don't know. Okay, it's a mistake or confusion where they're uttering the name of the Lord without devotion or clear understanding, but they are not committing offenses. Okay, but even such material chanting has immense spiritual value. That is this example here. The fallen Brahmana Ajamila was saved from hell by calling out the name Narayana, his favorite son mentioned in this particular verse. Ajamila's chanting is Namabhash, or semblance of the pure, real holy name of his chanting. Okay, so this in Sanskrit, this is technically called Sanketi, meaning that it's been assigned to something else. Even though it is supposed to refer to Krishna, but it is referring to something else. So here it's referring to his son. Okay, so nonetheless, because the sound was at the reflection of the pure divine name, he was saved from hell. So what can Namabash give? Just like how Nama Aparad, in spite of the challenges associated with the Nama Aparad, it still offers the desires, so that desires of this offender. At the same way, Namabash gives way more. It gives bhukti, mukti, siddhi, everything. Bhukti is material enjoyment. It gives mukti, which is liberation, and siddhi, which is mystic perfections. But what it will not give is love of God. Then you get, this is my last slide. Sorry for so many, writing so many things here, but I thought I just didn't want to miss these points. But Shuddha Nama, so this is again Jaiva Dharma. This is again gives Shuddha Nama, the definition of Shuddha Nama, that it's free from 10 kinds of offenses, and it is free from any semblance. Okay, so the pure name, so it is neither no Nama Aparad, no Nama Bash. So then that is Shuddha Nama. That is free from all. So in a simple language, if you want to understand what Shuddha Nama is, there is no desire for soft. Soft means even any trace of desire for knowledge, trace of desire in karma yoga or siddhi, mystic permission. There's not even a trace. So it's uncontaminated devotion. And how does this arise? From favorable inclinations and rejecting all unfavorable, anya abhilash, all extraneous desires are being removed and entirely dovetail with Krishna. And this at this time, and how is this bestowed? This is bestowed because to chant the pure name, the Lord himself has to favor. Okay, the Lord himself has to favor. So it's an act of divine grace. Okay, it's an act of divine grace. So ultimately, there is a costless personality of Godhead. No matter what effort we put, he has to fill the gap. Krishna has to fill the gap and saturate the mind and heart with devotion. So when one is free from all misgivings, at that time, the pure name will descend into the heart directly from Vraja Gokul. Okay, at this stage, there is no other desire. Okay, it is a pure name chanted entirely from in the spiritual world, directly descending from Vraja Gokul. And there is no other desire other than except for the pleasure of Krishna. And the pure name, and this is called as the perfection of chanting. And when a devotee sees Krishna personally dancing on one's tongue, and that is the spiritual, entirely spiritual, uncontaminated chanting Shuddha Nama. And that is there's also a book like that, Shivarama, His Holiness Shivarama Swami has written Shuddha Nama Chintamani, I think the book name. Very nice book. By such pure chanting, one realizes his spiritual form, okay, and then attains. So what is the effect of this? So number one, on the day the individual soul accepts the pure name, one name, chanting that name once, Krishna, once, it will destroy all the sum total of all the prarabdha and aprarabdha karma, all manifest and unmanifest karma are destroyed by the first chanting. And by chanting the second time, when one chants, the love of Godhead will arise. And then one realizes the spiritual form. So this is the progress. So this is the reason I mentioned these three is in the context of Ajamila, which is in the second clearing stage. And even for that, even though he called his son, the next verse which we will be sharing tomorrow is about the naming of children and why they are named after the Lord. Okay, so that's a context for tomorrow. I will stop here. It's going to be almost 50 minutes. Vancha kalpadrabhyascha kripasindubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I once again offer my humble obeisances to all of you, and please share in the group if I have missed something or any other realizations you would have. And thank you again to Vinita Gandaraki Mataji to call me again, and thank you Raj Prabhu for going to be the discussant. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. What a beautiful class, Prabhu. Thank you so much. You searched so much this name Narayana. It's so beautifully how you get it from so many references from Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course Jayavadharma. I started actually reading Jayavadharma. I don't know. I heard in some class, and such a wonderful book. It's just so amazing. From the starting, it gives you the concept of real Vaishnavism. To be humble, how Vaishnava should be, and you learn these things. I'm not born Vaishnava. I just jumped into ISKCON a couple of years ago, but it's so beautiful how our acharyas has given us so much material to study and to understand what is our position. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Beautiful class. I loved your class. There is already a few hands raised, Prabhu. Can we go with the question answer session? Thank you, Prabhu. Sukakara Prabhuji, our senior devotee, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, so nice, wonderful. So you really told how to do the chanting of the name in the Shuddha Nam. I want to know the Nama Bhas stage, because we are chanting for so many years. Nama Aparad is going on, Nama Bhas is coming. But you told 2 points, semblance. I could not get exactly the two things you told. That there is no offense. We are not doing any offenses, but there is some semblance. Can you just explain that, Prabhu?
So, simple example here, Prabhu. Ajamila, he chanted, he called his son Narayana. He was not referring to Lord Narayana, but when he called his son Narayana, he did not commit any of the 10 offenses. So there was no Nama Prad. But even though he's called his son Narayana, the word Narayana is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana himself. So even though he did not call his consciousness was not Krishna consciousness there, that he did not call the Lord Narayana, but even though he called his son Narayana, he did not commit any of the 10 offenses, Nama Prad, but just the word Narayana, whether knowingly or unknowingly recited without the 10 offenses, will still offer the the benefits that it is that it just offers, because it is still the name of the Supreme Lord, because the Lord and his name are not different. So the word semblance here means even though it appears like it is Lord Narayana's name, it is not, because he is calling his son, right? So there is semblance. So that's what it is. It is not the pure name chanted with pure love, but he did not commit any of the offenses.
But when we chant the holy names, I find that this aparad, see, the Vaishnava aparad, you know, to whom we have done, when we have done, that is very difficult to burn out. So that sometimes the taste is not coming. We are chanting, but somehow you finished. Especially the Zoom chanting is very good that we are chanting together, but some days it's going nicely, smooth. Some days it's very slow. Some sort of, there is problems coming some other every now and then.
So regarding Vaishnav, so just like how there was this bug in that Jaiva Dharma, there is also this very nice book which is on the holy name by His Holiness Mahanidhi Swami, who gives, there are many chapters there with reference to the holy name and the for each offense, what is the what is the step that needs to be done. Since you referred to, I'm just going to state what was said there in the book with respect to the one that you just mentioned, Prabhu, with respect to the Vaishnavas. So here you have to fall at the feet of the Vaishnavas and beg for forgiveness. And we have seen that so many, and Vaishnavas being so merciful, they will forgive. Okay. And this happened even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So the Lord did not forgive those who offended the Vaishnavas, and he asked them to take the, directly take the forgiveness from the Vaishnavas. So, so there are each of the 10 offenses. There are specific remedies. But all of them, if you see the sum and substances, we have to really repent and that sincere repenting is needed with those against whom those offenses were created. So the second part of the question is a little more tricky, where you said that we don't even know who's
to whom when talking.
Yeah, but those kind of things, is best to submissively approach our spiritual mentors and our Guru Maharaj and ask how to address that. But even surrendering to our spiritual master and begging for forgiveness from our spiritual mentors and spiritual master, that will show us the path of how to amend that Vaishnava Aparadh, all the Vaishnava Aparadh that we have done. And it is true, Prabhu, what you're saying. The chanting, knowingly and unknowingly, it just not because of this material conditioning, it is just not. So many offenses are happening all the time, which is the biggest impediment. You very rightly pointed out. Thank you.
So, Nayajanda, the Tamil are you South Indian? The way you spoke, I thought you were from South India. The way you spoke, are you from South India?
Is it the accent, or is it something else?
Accent? No, I just, because I am not from South India. I am from Japtak Maharaj disciple only. I just wanted to know as a sort of suspense.
Yes. Yeah, from the south. Yes, that's correct.
I'm from Chennai, Alvarpet, Prabhu. I'm a chartered accountant.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Sukakara Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. His Grace Prahladanand Prabhu, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for allowing me to speak. I have one small question regarding Bhagavad Gita slok 8.7, where Bhagavan Krishna says, Tasmat sarvesu kalesu mamanusmar yuddhya mayarpit manobuddhi mamevasya. So, before even getting initiated long back, I'm 60, almost 69 now. I'm talking about when I was 25, 26, like that. Before even, I just read Prabhupada's books and I read his Bhagavad Gita. And one thing I came to know was to chant, okay, in any circumstance. Prabhupada says you can chant on street. So since then, I have developed a habit of chanting even when I'm driving, and even when we were discoursing, I cannot stop chanting. So my question is, Tasmat sarvesu kalesu, and if all the time I cannot chant properly or purely like that, maybe once in a while, but what happens to all other chanting which I am doing? Is it aparadha or offensive, and what will it lead to me? That's my just small query there, if you can allow me to.
Prabhu, I'm going to take actually a lesson from what you just said. It is it is not very it's very saintly to be able to chant all the time, and just as the verse you said. And the only thing which I just learned a little from you, what I should also do as because I'm not in the stage where I'm chanting all the time, and I do my chanting and then I go to the next thing. But it's that's eye-opening for me too, for the long path that I still have in progress towards Krishna consciousness. And so I'm not actually in a position to comment about those who are already able to chant so nicely throughout the day, all the time, when it is naturally coming to you. And but nevertheless, the only thing which I can even think of here is that Krishna always fills the gaps. And that's what he said in the Bhagavad Gita as well, that any imperfections, that Krishna will complete it. And at the end, even Prabhupada has said that many times, to some percentage, whatever we do, but the bulk is actually filled by Krishna. Otherwise, nobody will really go to Vaikuntha. So that's the only small thing that I wish to add there. But thank you.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I'm so humbled to hear all this from you. And let Prabhupada Maharaj mercy be bestowed on all of us. That's my prayer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prahlad Prabhu. Very beautiful question and very humble answer, Jayananda Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Preeti Vilasini Mataji, Hare Krishna, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much. As always, a very wonderful class, very well researched and presented. Your usual style, it was really wonderful. Thank you so much. I have two questions, Prabhu. The first question is about when you said that you continue to make offenses. So in Jaiva Dharma, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that you have to submit to the holy name and worship the holy name. What do we mean by submitting to the holy name? Meaning, do we consciously again chant, or what does that word actually mean?
Our literature, Mataji, has used the word as Nama Prabhu, so as the personality of the holy name. And so the holy name being identical to Krishna's activities, pastimes, the place, personality, is non-different. So that means, like, if you worship Krishna and if you worship the holy name, it's the same. So that means, like, you can submit to the holy name. Is very pleasant. It's a very pleasant experience to submit to the holy name, means to surrender to the holy name. Holy name is a personality as well. So Nama Prabhu. So because holy name is same as Krishna. And offenses to the holy name, you can submit to the holy name. And that is what we had in the Jaiva Dharma here. Where is that verse? Here it is in the Nama Prat. It is the lowest form of chanting. So okay, Jaiva, okay, this is also, if one is an offender in the chanting of the holy name, he should submit to the holy name and thus be freed from the offenses. So that means, like, you have to repent to the holy name. That's what, if you read that part in Jaiva Dharma, that's what it says. You have to repent sincerely to the holy name and not take the holy name lightly. Mm-hmm. Holy name, it's not just some mundane thing, but mundane word. So we know that because we've been told that every day throughout our Krishna consciousness progress in this lifetime. But when we sincerely understand that the holy name is none other than Krishna, then in the name, in the sound, we will be able to see the form of the Lord. And that means that and in fact, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in Dhruva Maharaj, when he was chanting and he was trying in the forest, when he was the young boy and he was chanting, at that time, there were stages where, and then finally, he saw the Lord in his four-handed form there. And then there was the chanting of the name, and then the Lord was there in front, and then there was that awkward situation for a second, because he was a small boy, and there the personality of Godhead is standing right in front of him. And then he just took the conch shell and then just touched the head of Dhruva Maharaj. So in this way, the form of the Lord, so many devotees have seen the form of the Lord through the name.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Thank you. The other question I had was, I remember reading this definition in the purports of Srila Prabhupada about while you were discussing the different meanings of Narayana, and they're all at the Srimad Bhagavatam. This one particular definition always was never clear to me, though it appears simple, but still I would break my head as to how to decipher it. If you could go to that slide, Prabhu, or the definition by Srila Prabhupada. This one.
This one? Mm.
So the last one, he says, Narayana refers to one whose abode is in the water born from Nara. So this means, I'm just asking if my understanding is correct. The water, so basically the water is coming out from Garbhodakshay Vishnu's body, right? It's a sweat. So Nara Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Garbhodakshay Vishnu's the sweat forms the Garbhodak ocean. And then again, the same personality, he lies on it. So now, the same personality who's lying in this ocean is hence called Narayana, but that Nara is actually Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Okay.
That is correct.
Yeah.
In this verse, that is the definition.
Okay, got it. Okay. So basically, Narayana means one who's lying in the waters created by himself.
Yeah, that is in this particular thing. But I also mentioned other ways to split the word Narayana, like as the you can also, in one sense, you can also call it as Ayana is like the base. Okay, like here the water is the base in this thing, but he's the base for all the living entities. So he's the origin, base, creator of all living entities. That's another definition. And but this is a pretty straightforward definition. Nara plus Ayana is water. Yeah, you're correct, Mataji. In this verse, that is the definition.
Thank you. Very interesting. The third question I had was about the identity of, since you also mentioned about Narayana as you were talking, the identity of Narayana. To understand the identity of Nara there, is he should be considered him like something like a Shakti Avish avatar or a regular expansion? Because again, Nara, when he comes later, he comes as a Jiva, right? So, as Arjuna, is what I would say, because again, in the 10th canto, when Arjuna and Krishna, they go to see Vishnu in the Karna Vishnu, they have this conversation with Narayana. So how do we, I mean, I understand Narayana, but how do we understand the twins of Narayana? What would be their individual identities? How do we understand that? Reason I'm asking is again, because as you were talking in the conversation, we were talking about Narayana referring to one, the ultimate, the supreme personality of Godhead, and not a class of personalities like the Rudras, right? So now how do we consider the Narayana?
So this Narayana Mataji, there are only 2-3 things I'll say here, and the rest, we just have to, in the interest of, I'll just say 2-3 things here. One is we always have to see them together. Narayana Rishi, it's a joint incarnation. Okay, so they're always referred to as Narayana. So even when we say, so in this verse, it's everywhere they refer to as Narayana, they always come together. And just as like a very similar verse for understanding, in a sense, when you have Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Tatra Patu Dhanudara, so Yatra Patu Dhanudara, so there also where the Arjuna and Krishna are there, the same Arjuna and Krishna are here as Narayana. So they're always referred together as just as how this Narayana, you're not just confused with the Lord, even though he's the same, okay, but he's still they are an expansion. Narayana as an expansion, and when we refer to as just Lord Narayana, it's referred to as either the Narayana of the Vaikuntha, where he's standing on the sitting postures, or he is as Narayana, as the Garbhodakasai Vishnu, was lying down in the water. So that is when we just refer to as just Narayana, that's what it refers to. But here they're always referred to as together. They always come together, Narayana.
Okay. So
just as like Lord Matsya, just because he is called here as Narayana, just like Lord Matsya in the next verse. Okay, so they're expanding as Narayana.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Priti Vilasini Mataji, for the questions. Nitya Narasimha Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Thank you for the nectarian class, Prabhuji. My question is, Prabhu, like how one should follow Vanaprastha in the current time? As in the purport, you mentioned that even lesson from Ajamila, that at the age of 88, like he was lusty, and also he was like he took prostitute to his house and everything. So in the purport we read that one should avoid like sex life after the age of 45 or 50 years. So in the current time, how one can lead Vanaprastha life, Prabhuji? Would you kindly enlighten on that?
So The holy name, because this verse is with the holy name, I'll talk about it with reference to that itself. So as one sincerely chants, all the unwanted features which are not naturally associated with the soul will slowly disappear. So there are two things here. One is the effort of the devotee. Number two is the grace of the Lord. Most of the times, the grace of the Lord comes through Vaishnavas and the association of the devotees. So as if we sincerely want association of devotees, and we pray to the holy name to offer us that association, the contamination will slowly disappear. So in most of these cases, it naturally occurs. Some effort from our side is good, but also all these things are supposed to naturally occur as side effects. Like progress in Krishna consciousness will, it's like a track. One rail is letting go material attachments and desires, and the other goal is to firmly holding on to Krishna. And both need to happen simultaneously. So as we move towards, because otherwise the train will derail. So these are the two things, two goals, principal goals, which is there. One is trying to hold on to Krishna, and the other hand is trying to let go material, anything material. Even though you mentioned one thing, but anything material, we have to let go. And both have to happen simultaneously. And the easiest approach to do that is to
Prabhuji got stuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it's only me, but
Yeah, even I was thinking the same thing, that it was only for mine.
Can somebody call Prabhuji?
Yeah, let's give a few seconds. I think Prabhuji also knows. If he's
Okay,
not,
Prabhuji knows, perfect.
Shall we pause the recording, Mataji?
yeah, I just messaged him to check my message is come.
Okay.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Still there. I'm sorry. Looks like I'm the only one got disconnected. You're able to hear me now, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you now.
So in association of devotees, the devotees generally will keep our consciousness in check. And marriage itself is meant for regulation. It's meant to regulate things. And anything, all these things through our deep, sincere prayer to Krishna, through the holy name chanting the holy names, will help to get over these material attachments and material desires. But just any effort from our own side, independent of Krishna and the Vaishnavas, will fail. Devi yesa gunamai bhavamaya duratyaya, that, and those will fail. But with Krishna's help, it will be possible. Is that good?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nitya Narasimha Prabhu. Very beautiful question. We all struggle at some point of our life in different attachments that we have. So true. Thank you, Prabhu. Very beautiful answer. Only name and the association of devotees is helpful. Other than that, we are useless. Other than that, we will fail. Anita Mataji, Hare Krishna, please go ahead.
Hare Bol, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Jayananda Gauranga Prabhuji. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class with very nice slides and various shlokas getting for the name of Narayana. So the class was very amazing, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my question is, initially in shloka 12.12.3, you were saying the mode of passion and mode of ignorance also, there is some advancement, right? So, and the mode of goodness is like they are reading Garuda Puran, that's what you mentioned?
There are, I just mentioned about the 18 Mahapuranas. They are classified into 6, 6, and 6. And then those in the mode of goodness. Okay, so there are 6 Puranas in that, and that is Vishnu Purana, Narada Purana, Bhagavata Purana, Garuda Purana, Padma Purana, and Varaha Purana. So these are the 6 in the mode of goodness. And then you have 6 in the Tamasa Purana as well, Matsya, Kurma, Linga, Shiva, Skanda, Agni. And then 6 in the passion, Brahmanda Purana, Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Markandeya Purana, Bhavishya Purana, and Bhamana Purana. And so if you look at these Puranas, because if somebody, the reason why it is mentioned, because the way this has been, the first exposition of all these things in terms of the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, was made by Madhvacharya. Very extensively he made it actually. And is, let's say that somebody comes and cites to you a verse from, let's say, the one of the like Linga Purana, for instance, and say this is what it is said. But then, how would you say that? How do you view it in a balanced way compared to what it says in Vishnu Purana or the Bhagavatam or Padma Purana? That is why I mentioned that, and that is basically coming from what Madhvacharya mentioned. And because those scriptures are also needed for those who are going to take few more lifetimes to make advancement. So for everybody, there has to be a chance. So that means like those, also there are people who need those kind of verses, mentioned in the tamasic Tamasa Puranas, like Linga Purana or Skanda Purana and so on, for their development, and so that eventually they would be able to let go material attachments, because not everybody is at the stage where they can let go material desires in that pace. So, but the Bhagavatam is the best Amalam Puranam, spotless Purana of all, even though in the mode of goodness, purely dealing with the spiritual realm with no contamination whatsoever. And it might be very difficult for some personalities to, especially those in high demoniac tendencies, to accept these principles and let go the violence against all creatures. So when those things are there, when that violence, it will take time for it to disappear. So they might have to take the principles in the Puranas, the 6 Puranas in the mode of meant for those in the mode of darkness, and then progress eventually to reach this stage. So that's what I meant, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That was a very clear explanation. And my next question is, do you have time, Prabhuji? Can I ask? Prabhuji, do you have time? Can I go to my next question? Hare Krishna?
Yeah. I have time. I thought you were asking Raj Prabhu. Okay. Yeah, I can take. Yeah.
Prabhuji, you were mentioning about Narayana. So Narayana means the person who lies on the ocean, which is created by him. That is a one-line definition. So in that, for Ayana, you gave three definitions, in which the second one was you were saying it's basis. He is the base, and he is the creator of all the living entities. And then what is the other one, Prabhuji?
There are a few other, Mataji. I just didn't go into those details now because if we, I can send some website to Mataji. You can actually, there are big dispositions on how the word Narayana is. It's mostly written by Sri Vaishnavas and Acharyas, and there is a saint there, Vedanta Desika. He has written many meanings for this, and but these two are like the broad definitions which came to my one, because Prabhupada has frequently cited the one that I said, and the other one it was actually cited by Vedanta Desika in Sri Vaishnava Acharya.
Okay, thank you, Prabhupada.
The others I have to look into it again to see, but there are some more definitions too.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my other question is, in Nama Aparadha, is like we are making offenses, and clearing that offenses, we go to the stage of Nama Bhash, right? So Nama Bhash is like we have to hear, means like in that stage we will hear and we will chant the name, right?
Nama Bhash, Mataji, is not something to aspire for. It is not something that comes by aspiration. It happens on its own, because you're not here. It's not something that you're not it is not actively, it is not an active aspirational goal. For example, in this case of Ajamila, he did not actively aspire to chant the Shuddha Nama, and he chanted the name of his son, right? It just happened so.
Yeah.
So the progress is so from Nama Aparadha, sometimes Nama Bhash can happen because you're not like, for example, let's say that you are facing some difficulty, and then you just suddenly just say Krishna like that. Okay, so you're not chanting the pure name, and you're not commenting some offenses. There is some semblance, okay, but then maybe there is Nama Bhash, but you're not referring directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but you're just uttering the name. So in that semblance, so the semblance is it's there because it is ultimately supposed to refer to the Supreme Lord, but you're not referring to him, but you're also not you're not creating offenses. But that's
is it
not
that we are thinking about our problem and we are uttering the name? Is it like that?
Yeah, some semblance. I just gave a rough example. I don't know whether it is that or that will count. It's very contextual. It is very contextual, and in that situation only you will know whether it is Nama Bhash or not, or Nama Aparadha. But there is not a goal to strive for, because it is not something that you strive to say, okay, I have a child whose name is Krishna. Now I'm going to always chant my son's name without reference to the Lord. I'm always going to call him Krishna, Krishna, come here, like that. It's not an aspirational goal. You see what I'm saying? So.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you so much. And my next question is, this doubt I have for a long time. We have Venkatachalapati, right? Tirumala Tirupati. So is he Kshirodaga Shai Vishnu or Narayan only? The Vaikuntha Narayan. I have this doubt.
In a sense, the Narayana, both are referred to as Narayana. Those, because the Vaikuntha planet system, every planet is the Narayana Loka there too. You have, although the central planets, you have Ayodhya, Dwaraka, and then Vrajagokul is there. But then there are Narayana planets everywhere there. And the same Narayana himself in the material creation, from him he expands And that is how the creation is explained in the second canto in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he also comes as in the Vishnu in the causal ocean, the Vishnu in the Garbhodaka ocean, and so on. So they're all the same. And with specifically with reference to Lord Balaji here, I'm not going to go too much details, but that is also a specific expansion where he appeared on this planet. And there are pastimes specifically associated with him, and there are scriptures specifically associated with what he has done, what are the activities, and his marriage to Mahalakshmi, and there are specific activities. So instead of even though he is the Lord, he's the Supreme Lord, and Prabhupada also has visited the temple, and we have a beautiful temple there, ISKCON Tirupati, and but there are it's a avatar. He expanded here in this, and there are specific pastimes associated with it. Just as how there are most temples, you'll have a kshetra, Purana. There is some kind of a pastime associated with that thing. So there are specific pastimes with that deity.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji. So then we can say that all Narayana forms are coming from Balaram. So Balaram is actually coming from Krishna. So can we say like...
Yeah, Balaram, then Sankarshna. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, is it possible for you to share this PPT for us? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Anita Mataji. Prabhu, sometime some of my friends, they come and they'll say, how's going, Pal? They say very fast, how's going, Pal? So I always see Gopal in that Pal, how's going, Pal? So I'm like, oh, they're chanting name of Krishna, Gopal. And sometimes they'll say, oh, hurry up, like Canadians, they say, hurry up, hurry up. I'm like, oh, wow, they're chanting name of Hari. So there is always some kind of Hari and Gopal between the Canadians too and the white people too. So that's very beautiful. So
yeah, even Prabhupada also noticed like that, right? Like the Chicago airport was called O'Hare, and he said there's Oh Hare in it.
Oh, so, Haribol, I didn't knew that. Thanks for sharing that episode, Prabhu. Haribol. Prabhuji, there is one more question from Prahlad Prabhuji in the chat box. And he's glorifying your class and asking about the importance of the snake bed that where Lord Vishnu is lying.
It's not there in my chat, Prabhu. Can you just tell me the question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, thank you for the wonderful class. Question from a student not acquainted with Vedic culture. Why is Lord Vishnu lying on a snake bed? What does snake bed represent?
I actually don't know. I actually don't know. All I can think of is that it is he's the independent personality of Godhead, and he exhibits his beautiful pastimes in so many ways, which is attractive to the devotees in many, many ways. But I actually don't know the answer, Prabhu. Why
is it Prabhu Ananta Sesha's brother Balram want to serve him? That's why he's lying down in Ananta Sesha, which is Balrama.
Yeah, but I think the question he is asking is like, why did Sankarshana or why did Balarama why is he as Sesha as this? But they have eternally exist like that, but I don't know the answer. I don't know why the snake, or if the question meant like, why is it a snake and not like an elephant, right? That's the thing, right? Is that the question? And if that is the question, then I actually don't know the answer.
Because Baladeva is Adishesha, it's a snake only. So he will only offer that, and Krishna has to lie down on that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, can I ask Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Regarding the same question. So actually, Baldeva is Ananta. So then he, as Garbhodakashai Vishnu, he Narayana, he lies on the Anantashesh, right? So then Baldeva himself is expanding to Anantashesh, and Narayana is lying over that. Is it like that, Prabhuji? He's
That is
having.
correct. Yeah, that part is correct. That part is correct. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And one more question is like
these questions are something like, you know, why does these kind of questions are very analogous to, at least to my limited knowledge, like why is Krishna in this color? Why is he has a peacock feather on his head? These are all very similar questions, you know. So for which, but if because of the glories of Lord Sesha, I don't know if something is mentioned. I mean, I know in the 5th canto towards the end, 24th chapter, there's glories of Lord Sesha, but even there, I don't think anybody asked that kind of question, even that thing, you know, why is that? Why does he have a conch shell? Why does he have a gada? Why can't he have some other weapon? You know, it's like that, right?
Prabhuji, one last question.
Why does Krishna play a flute, right? It's all very similar. Why is a snake? So, sorry, Mataji, go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, this is Lalitangi Radha Devdasi. One student asked me this question. Since we are acquainted with this, we know that Balaram is Adisesh and they have Vahana and like that. So, but a person who's seeing this for the first time and getting to know Krishna consciousness, it was from that perspective. Is there any significance?
Maybe some senior devotees here can shed light how to answer that question in such a way that the person continues to progress in this. I am just not able to think. I just don't want to speculate something of which it will just be wrong if I speculate something here. There are so many senior devotees here. Somebody can say and share what they think.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You are a very, authoritative, and the way you present is wider than your research. So, yeah, thank you for your association, and we are very grateful for that.
Thank you, Lalitangi Mataji. I didn't know I read Prahlad because the name was showing as Prahlad. So thank you so much for the question. Thank you, Prabhu, for the beautiful answer, actually, because you don't want to speculate, and that's a beautiful thing. We don't want to just jump in because we want to answer something. That's so beautiful of you. That's very humble, and that shows your level, actually, Prabhu. So thank you so much. I think in chat box something came. Anita Mataji has a book of questions today. Anita Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, this is my last question. Prabhuji, actually, few people, like one of my friends, she's a devotee of Lord Shiva. She does Pradosha, Vrat and all, everything she's doing, like Shivratri, everything. So she knows, she has come into Krishna conscious, and she knows Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but still she's continuing the same, like she doesn't want to leave that also. So it's a bit little hard, right? Following that breath, and immediately other day, it's like 2 days she's fasting fully. So it's like that. So how can we tell her, Prabhuji? Maybe in the meanwhile she will know, or how it is, Prabhuji?
It is good, Mataji. It is good. They're worshipping Lord Shiva. That is good, because they're knowing Krishna, and Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Krishna. And so if we understand, it is our perception that we also have to see. If we are just for the sake of saying that Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Krishna, and then if somebody is worshipping Lord Shiva, if we think, you have also stated that the person also knows that Krishna as the primeval cause. So Lord Shiva himself will give that wisdom, and he is now one of the 12 Mahajanas. He will give the wisdom, and we can only appreciate their worship of Lord Shiva. And eventually, simple things can be done also to progress further in with our Vaishnava behavior, and that is to first offer to Krishna, then offer to then it becomes Mahaprasadam, then offer to Lord Shiva, then it becomes Mahaprasadam, and then we can have it. So in this way, simple things can be done. First give it to Krishna, then give it to Lord Shiva, then we accept. So in this way, many senior devotees, they have so many methods. Even now we have devotees who have worshipped Lord Shiva in the past, and so they still have their deities. They may have it on a for they will first offer it to Krishna, then offer it to Lord Shiva, then eat, and then they consume. It becomes even sweeter.
Okay.
The
Thank you so
prasadam
much,
becomes even
Prabhuji.
sweeter.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful question. Thank you, Prabhu. Very beautiful answer. We all know our beloved His Grace Amogli Prabhuji. He always says he was a Shiva devotee, beautiful Shiva devotee. But then we all know what Shiva gave to him is beautiful. He's spreading so much naam. He's a soldier of Srila Prabhupada. So thank you so much, Prabhu. Very beautiful class. Very beautiful question answer session, Prabhu. Prabhu, I think there is no more questions in the chat box and no hand raised. So Prabhu, with your permission, we can end the class, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Prabhu.
Very, very wonderful discussion.
Superb class.
Amazing class. Dear devotees, let us pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ji ki
Jai.
His Grace Jayananda Gauranga Prabhu ki
Jai.
Jai.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Hare
Amazing
Krishna.
class, Prabhu. Thank you for your time, Prabhu. And
Gauranga.
Thank you for being with us today. Hare
Jayananda
Krishna.
Gauranga.
Bye, Vrinda.
Gauranga.
Gauranga.
Hare Krishna, Bala Vrinda.